comes Roglic. Here comes Roglic. Roglic at the front, and he's going to take it home again.
Bottom of the climb, given the fact it's only 7 k's long, gets to the bottom of the climb with a minute and a minute and a half. Dombrowski could stay cleared at least halfway up, even to 2 or 3 k's to go, to offer really valuable support to his teammate. But knowing that, and knowing he's probably not going to be fighting for the victory, can simplify things just that little bit more. And he certainly does look really relaxed. And there's nothing like being out in a break in a bike race, though.
Primoz Roglic, however, he's made of different stuff, isn't he? He's won every single stage race he's ridden so far this season. And the numbers are about to arrive at a milestone as long as he doesn't mess this one up today. It would be his 20th stage race win overall, and for a man who came from more of a battle in the Nationals now.
Yeah, save for the Groupama, save for the Groupama example, which I think is probably the best one in our sport, Rob, given the fact they've also got the feeder team as well. I didn't have the pleasure of commentating on the French National Championships, but I did watch it, and it was a sea of blue. But there we go. But no, it's a well-earned win, and as you say, just to echo your sentiment there, he's had a tremendous season. And I think, just looking at that result, or the results he had in the Classics, I think he's a tremendously versatile rider. He's on bottle duty today, because they'll be looking after the climbers, looking after the interest of Rubio for a potential stage win.
I should know that, since he's from down the road from me. Deary
Sorry,
me.
Mate. Sorry, mate.
You can tell we're 2 Grand Tours in the Classics in by now, can't you?
We certainly are.
Sorry, guys.
No. I thought I'd better just...
Yeah, no, you do right.
Really feeling good. And although 33 seconds is a big gap, I think Yates would like to come away with at least a stage win here as well. Again, he's a thoroughbred winner, and more than capable of taking on Roglic as well. It's not as if okay, give it a go, you see what happens. He could quite. It wouldn't be a surprise if he took the stage. It's a decade between them, isn't there? So yeah, completely different points in their lives. But it's interesting going back to what you're talking about there. They're at the very same training camp, weren't they? in altitude, sharing the same hotel, which is pretty fascinating. And ultimately they faced off in Italy, as we know. Didn't quite come to pass for Remco, had to withdraw from the race. But Primoz Roglic added to his burgeoning Palmares.
Well, with no Rainbow Remco on the road anymore. Primoz Roglic has gone to sit back at the front of the race now. He's sitting at the back of the line of those yellow jerseys with his team. Just in the last 10 minutes, Peloton have upped the speed, travelling 3 km/h quicker than the breakaway.
One long line, still Jumbo-Visma setting the tempo down here, but they won't be taking any risks at all. In fact, at the front, as they hit that little flatter section, do you see the gap start to close up? That deceleration that occurs at the front means the riders will bunch up briefly, and it still is the solitary figure of Koen Bowman. He's pretty much done the entire race since we've come on air, Rob, on the front. Just shows that he's more than capable of doing that, and also that they need as many other riders around Roglic in the final as they can. They want to get this job. It was nice to see.
It's a nervous watch, this, though.
It is. It always is.
Speeds up at 50 k's an hour. Looks faster than that, I was going to say.
It does.
Sounds suddenly it's reading 64. The initial one might have been a bit of an error. Just inside 20 kilometers to go.
Yeah, they're motoring now, aren't they? They've gone through the steepest part of the descent. The road continues to percent, even 100%, that you're not going to stay away, yet still you keep on pressing on. But yeah, I think that was more of a grimace, Rob, from Yetzibol there. A little bit of just an acknowledgement of the pain, of the increasing amount of pain.
Bottom of the climb. That's over Alexander Vlasov, leader of Bora Hansgrohe in the green points jersey here. And if you're looking out for third placed Adam Yates, the leader of the UAE Emirates team, he's in the red King of the Mountains jersey today. Roglic, by the way, the leader in the purple jersey. So break about to be caught even before we get to the first slopes of the classified part of the climb. Matt Stevens, it's all going to be down. I was going to say the big peloton, but we've only got 15 teams here, down to the main men.
Yep, I think we've only got about 102 starts. The other day as well. Maybe not on paper the rider you would have thought that had been there at the end, when of course it was George Bennett who struggled, but turned it around the following day and sits nicely inside the top 10. In 5th place, in fact, on the GC, but the South African now is the rider setting the pace as the bunch continues to thin, and Affini finds something to draw level again. This is like the Burgos half-wheeling competition right now.
UAE have already got their stage win this week. Orlando took that on the opening day. Jumbo-Visma have taken 2. And given the fact this is only a 5-day race, not too much else to share around, is there?
No. Last kilometre or so at the end, it is going to sort them out. And right now it's just swung off. It was Ivo Oliveira of UET Emirates who's done a very long turn on the front. There is Alexander Vlasov. Remember, he's in the green jersey. Outright leads the points competition as we get a little bit of picture breakup, but it's now Bora Hansgrohe setting the tempo on the front. I'll tell you what, there's not that many riders in this. He is Jan Tratnik as well, the fellow Slovenian. Out of the saddle also, about 15th rider back is a Damiano Caruso. So still a sizable group here, but a good pace being set by Domen Novak at the moment.
Fabio Felline off the back. Mentioned him earlier on, going back to Lidl Trek later on. That's Edu Prades for Caja Rural. Catalan rider who can sprint well towards the end of the day. And Novak, well, a solid domestique, isn't he?
The green jersey of Alexander Vlasov. There is the race leader, Primoz Roglic. Looks okay at the moment, but doesn't have any teammates with him for company that I can see. I tell you who is doing a good ride. Oya Lascano is also still at the back of this group on the wheel of Buitrago.
He'll be wanting to win as well.
He certainly will, there's no doubt about it. In and out of the saddle. This is an infernal rhythm that's being set by Vine for the first time in the track.
This is Yates. It's Yates who launches in the red jersey. Vlasov will follow. Vine's job is done for the day and for this race, and we're with the podium. Adam Yates, who was on the attack 2 days ago on Picon Blanco, but could not shake Roglic. And it's as we were on the podium at the...
Roglic the leader, Vlasov in the green jersey. Vlasov who's happy to slot onto the wheel of Yates rather than let Roglic do it. But he closed it very easily, and Vlasov's clearly climbing a little bit better than he did a few days ago as Yates continues to pile on the pressure. And on these sorts of slopes, you don't want it to get too tactical. Very little benefit sitting on the wheel of a rider in front, and Yates knows that. So as soon as the road gets steep, this is where he has that little bit of an advantage. But Vlasov right now, Rob, is looking pretty comfortable, or relatively speaking anyway.
Looking around between the front 3, it's just allowing those 4 chasing to get a little bit closer to them. And this is the 3rd group on the road now. Volta at the back. It's Caicedo, the former Ecuadorian champion, here at the front. Number 34 there is Rainer Keplinger. He had a teammate in here, and that looked to be Damiano Caruso. Back to the front, and Roglic, left-hand side. Up onto the pedals. Interesting. And picking up that front position, confident, assured. Roglic being Roglic.
Yep, most of the pacemaking so far has been done by Adam Yates. Roglic moves through to the front. Remember, he's got a decent cushion on the overall classification. 33 seconds over Vlasov, 38 seconds over Yates. Remember, 10, 6 and 4 on the line. And Yates, I'm sure, would like to vault at least 1 place on the GC. But I think more importantly, he wants to try and win this stage. And right now, Roglic setting the tempo in view, save for these 3 riders now, Rob.
1,700 metres to the conclusion of this year's Vuelta a Burgos. It's looking good for Primoz Roglic. Windows fully open on a hot day, though. That leader's jersey well unzipped.
Yeah, really hot conditions as the road here continues to rise. These are beautiful long shadows. That's a wonderful image, isn't it? Late afternoon here. On the straighter section of road, that little group behind me, you had to see several groups up in front.
Destination up the hill there. Now on 20 kilometers per hour at this point, but it's going to kick up once more for the final kilometer. Double digits again, remember. Everybody taking their turn.
There's somebody getting across the gap here. There's a rider in between that looked
UAE
like,
rider.
I'm not too sure if it was Jay Vine who's got a little bit of a second wind. We'll soon find out, but it was only about 10 or 15 metres off, and where the road flattens here, that might be an opportunity for that rider to get back in contact. 1,300 metres to go now, Rob. I think, as the way the camera's dropping back, that's going to allow that other rider to come through.
I know there's still bonus seconds here, 10, 6 and 4s. It is Jay Vine. It looked like he'd parked up when he finished his initial turn, so that's a great recovery from the Australian.
Certainly is. And what's he going to do here? Is he going to go for glory himself or try and set up his teammate? He should be on the radio. Yates should know that he's on. That is some comeback from a Jay Vine.
Coming into the final kilometre then, and Vine is back, sitting on the wheel of Primoz Roglic, the leader of the race. For the race victory, unless there's an absolute disaster and crisis in the final kilometre, it's looking good for Roglic now. Yates, Vlasov have tried to take it to him, and look at Yates on the front. He's putting his own teammate in trouble.
It certainly is. I don't think that was an expected comeback. I'm not too sure if Yates even knew it was there. But Vine managed to get back in contact when the road flattened. Smart bit of riding there, strong bit of riding by Vine. He might actually jump up a couple of places himself, but this is all about just trying to break the will of the others. Classic Yates style. But he cannot shake off the green jersey or the man in purple.
There's that 1,000 metres to go. And this is Jay Vine fading once again. He's had an eventful week, as we said earlier on in the climb. UAE have had a good week overall, certainly if Yates can finish this off. Stage win in the opening day. Third place in the GC at the moment, and the King of the Mountains jersey, but those mountains points with 30 available here on the top of this all-category mountain. Surely he's going to go to the stage winner. Roglic, though, primed to do what he does best.
Certainly
is. He won one of these short sprints, hasn't he, earlier on in the week.
Oh, he's so
look
explosive.
At the crowds.
Yeah, great support here for these three riders, the three leaders. Yates still on the front, a completely and utterly different style there. Out of the saddle, big gear, trying to break the elastic. He glances around and he'll still see the sunglasses, even the grimace, the first sign of a grimace there from Alexander Vlasov, but still looking relatively impassive is Primoz Roglic.
There are a few worse things there, climbing up that mountain with the 16 to 18% gradient and a big headwind until they turned. It's now coming across the road with Yates at the front, Roglic starting to wind it up behind in third place, and Vlasov sitting in the middle. Remember, Yates, winner in the opening stage of the Tour de France. He took the yellow jersey as well. Vlasov, who was looking so good going into the Giro d'Italia after a quieter start, and that was the team tellers on purpose this year. They wanted him to build up more slowly and be ready for the final week, but then COVID got in the way. And Roglic, well, he did the business in Tirreno. He won in Catalonia, and on that dramatic 20th stage of the Giro d'Italia, on his own mountain bordering Slovenia, his native land, with his fans in attendance, did what he did in that mountain time trial. The winner of the Giro d'Italia, hoping to take the Vuelta España again. But it's the Vuelta Burgos that's going to belong to him here. Whatever happens, we think now, in these final 400 metres.
Well, Yates had hardly even looked round. This is the way that he'd prefer to win, rather than one sharp acceleration, just wear everybody down one big long effort. But face there of Primoz Roglic out of the saddle, wanting himself up as well, still sat down that low gear in the centre. Ooh, coming together there in the last few hundred metres now. Who is going to take this one?
So steep to the line after 4 hours, 7 minutes in the blazing Spanish sun. The Vuelta Burgos about to come to an end with the three main men who've been right at the top of the timesheets all week. The name of the local hero, the only Burgos in the race, Fuentes, out on the road. But it's going to be a Brit, a Russian, and a Slovenian to fight it out for victory at the top in Lagunas de Nela. Adam Yates hits the front. Primoz Rogrlic on his wheel. It's Vlasov who's suffering that little bit more today as they come around the corner. 100 metres turn into 80 metres. Yates, who won the sprint the other day, but here comes Roglic. Here comes Roglic. Roglic at the front, and he's going to take it home again. Primoz Roglic once more doing what he does best and in charge. It is